Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm back. I haven't been gone that long, but I didn't film for I guess a good 2 weeks. And just a little bit of background on that. I have not been feeling well at all. I was so sick, but I'm starting to feel better. It's just one of those things where I could not even read or I didn't have the energy or inspiration, definitely not to film or do anything else important with my life except try to feel better. But I'm starting to feel better, so I'm just going to show you the few books that I managed to read in April. It was definitely way less than I had wanted to, but again, I was so sick, it just wasn't a possibility. But I was really happy with what I did read this month, so that counts for something. One of the books that I read this month was At Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery, and I have read this before. I read it, I think, in middle school or early high school. Someone wrote me a note in this book because they gave it to me as a gift, and it's dated. So the date in here suggests actually maybe 6th grade that I read this. But I reread it, and I actually think I got so much more out of it now as an adult reading it than I did. Even though I loved it then, I think I loved it even more this time. And if anyone isn't familiar with the story behind At Green Gables, this is about an orphan girl who gets adopted, and she's in Canada, and she was actually a mistake. They had actually wanted a boy. The couple, the brother-sister, older couple who adopted her, had actually originally wanted a boy, but they ended up with Anne, and it is just about her. You know, there's no overwhelming drama other than Anne drama, and I love Anne and how imaginative she is, and this was definitely a perfect springtime read. I loved it so much, and I think a lot of us as women and girls growing up identify with Anne or want to be more like Anne. Like, she just is so inspiring for a young girl to read because she just sees so much beauty in the world and is so imaginative and just kind of flies by the seat of her pants, and I love that about her, and I think that's what a lot of people really love about Anne. And yeah, I highly recommend this if you haven't read it yet. I think it's enjoyable for all people and all ages, and I definitely want my girls to read this when they get older. So I really enjoyed this, and this was a really good distraction book when I was really feeling very ill. I still read this book in a matter, I think, of 2 days, despite how sick I was, because it's just that enjoyable. The next book that I read, I don't have with me. That was The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak, and it was a library book, which is why I don't have it. I will say, out of the few books that I've read in April, I think The Book Thief was actually my least favorite, but it wasn't bad. I think I gave it 4 stars, maybe, or maybe 5 stars on Goodreads. It's just, the 3 books that I did manage to read and finish this month were all really good, and if I had to number them, Book Thief would be the 3rd most enjoyable one. I really enjoyed it. I know everyone's probably familiar with the story, but what I liked most about the Book Thief book was that the main character in it was not a Jewish person. She was not a Jew. She was just a German, and I thought that was an interesting perspective to write from, just because most of World War II and Holocaust type books that you read are from a Jewish perspective, which I have always enjoyed, and I feel like those definitely need to be around, but it was really interesting to read from just a German girl's perspective. And I thought, getting into the book, that it would be really travel-y. Like, I thought for some reason I had it in my head that she was going on an adventure of some sort, and she did not. But I kind of like that. I like that. I like that we weren't traveling. I like that she stayed in her town. And it was written from Death's perspective, not hers, which was another interesting take on things. I was kind of leery about that part of it too, because I wasn't sure how that would be or how that would work out. But it was really good. And I don't really have any complaints about the book. The only thing is, it's not my most favorite book. I know for a lot of people it really rocked their world, and I can see why. It just, for me, it was just a really good book. It was just a really good book. It wasn't a game changer for me or anything, but it was still good, and I recommend people read it if they haven't, because I don't think, it's one of those books there's nothing to lose. It's interesting, it's good, it's different, all of the above. I like it. So, and the last book that I managed to finish this month was Come Go Home With Me, stories by Sheila K. Adams. And I mentioned this, I talked about this some when I was talking about my TBR for the month, and this is one I definitely wanted to get to. I read this in a matter of a couple hours in one evening. It was that good. It's just a collection of stories about my local area and just the Appalachians and real people and stories of growing up in the 60s and 70s in the Appalachian Mountains. So I think anyone interested in history or the Appalachian Mountains or anything of that nature will really enjoy these stories. This was a blazing 5 stars for me. I really, really love these. One of the quotes I took away from this that I thought was sort of funny is in one of the last stories in the pages where it's kind of wrapping up. Sheila K. Adams, she talks a lot about her grandmother in here, and this quote takes place during sort of like a woman's meeting where all the women in the family are kind of gathering for her grandmother's birthday, and they're talking about men and womanly issues and raising children and stuff. And one of my favorite parts that kind of made me smile a whole lot and stick out in my mind was it says, "And before that there was talk of shaving our legs. If God had meant us to be slicker than glass, why he'd have made us that way," which is what her grandmother said. So I thought that was really funny, and I was sort of like, amen, Grandma, amen. We aren't meant to be slick. So those were all the books that I read in the month of April. So a heaping 3, but again, didn't feel well, so did the best I could. The ones I read were really good. I enjoyed them all. Now, as for what I'm currently reading, I'm still trying to finish up Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. I had intended to read that this month, and I think I got about 100 pages in, and it's not a very long book. Maybe it's like 275 or something like that, or less, maybe 250. It's not a long book at all. I'm about 100 pages in, and that was 2 weeks ago, and I haven't picked it up since then. So I don't know how that one's going to turn out for me. That could completely turn around, but I set that book down and I just still need to finish it. Yeah, I don't know. So far it was okay, but I don't know how that's going to turn out for me. So I'll have to update y'all about that in this coming month of May. And then the other book that I had wanted to read this past month in April was The Stand by Stephen King. And I'm still reading this. I am on page 590, and I still don't think that's even 50% of the way done with this book. So yeah, it's huge. I've already read almost 600 pages, and I might be almost 50% done. That's how huge and massive this book is. But I don't want to give too many things away, but I am really, really enjoying this book. So I'm excited to talk about this whenever I'm done. I'm definitely going to finish this before I pick up anything else because I'm really enjoying this book. So that was my month of April. Again, not a huge reading month at all, but there were outside factors that had to do with that. But now I'm starting to feel better, so I'm going to get back into making some more videos because I'm reading more, starting to feel a little bit more inspired after dealing with stuff for the past few weeks. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I will talk to you guys again soon, I hope.